On the running point today is Randy Clark, head coach of the Brookfield Warriors football team. Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Big win in week one. You go into McDonald and you dominate the Blue Devils 35-6. Talk a little bit about what went into that win and some of the things you saw from your kids and some of the things that you're proud of for that week one effort.
Well, I was just very proud of our kids, the way they responded. They played well for a lot of guys that actually their first game really playing varsity. But we still had quite a bit of kids back from last year. But our aggressiveness and our toughness really showed in week one.
Coach, you talk about that aggressiveness and toughness. I think there's no doubt that what your offense did against a very good McDonald defense and a very good McDonald line was very impressive week one. Talk to me about what you game planned with your offense for week one and what you saw out there on the field.
Well, we just do what we do, and we thought, we think we're very good up front. I mean, this is probably one of my better offensive lines I've had in a while. All the way from one end to the other end, we got some good size. And we our motto is to be aggressive, and that's what we were on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, and you were very aggressive. You come out with a win 35-6 over McDonald. How important was it to you in the game plan to set the tone and really get a grapple of that game early? Because that's what you guys did. You set the tone early, and you came out and dominated from the start. So how important was it for you guys to set the tone early in that game?
Well, that's a very important aspect of the game. It's you got to come out, try to set the tone from the beginning, opening kickoff, or if you're kicking or returning. I think the first couple plays, either on offense or defense, are very, very important to any game.
There's no doubt that the McDonald fans are usually one of the most biggest supporters of the teams, of the community-wise. What was it like telling your players going into this game? With COVID last year, there wasn't really, fans weren't as big of an aspect in it. Was it a thing that you kind of talked about with your players about the fans being a big part of the game again?
Well, we always say, we talk to our kids about away games, about mental preparation, and don't get involved in the fan stuff. McDonald does have a very good following, but we once you get between the lines, I'm not sure how much of that you hear or pay attention to, but our kids are excited to be back playing in front of fans. There was a very good crowd there. Our kids are, I knew going into it, even though a lot of people didn't give us a whole lot of opportunity because, with Gibson gone and stuff like that. But I know we got so many weapons. It's actually sometimes hard to coach.
You get to open up in front of your home fans this week against a Springfield team looking to bounce back. Talk about this matchup, what kind of things you see, and what kind of things you're looking forward to in week two.
Well, Springfield and us, year in, year out, other than last year with COVID, we play a very good game against each other. It's normally nit and tuck, and it can go either way. We're excited to play them. With 2 years in a row back to back state semifinalists. They're a very well coached team. You're not going to pull anything over on them. You're going to have to play, be fundamentally sound and execute to do what you need to do.
How does a game plan change from going to face a McDonald team that's usually ground and pound to a Springfield team that we know what Bo Brungard can do when he's under center?
Well, it changes a lot. It does change a lot. Bo is probably one of the best quarterbacks, not even in the area, probably in the state. We're excited to play against him. It's totally different. I can tell you that. The first 3 days we had here prepping for Springfield is a lot different than what we had to prep for McDonald, and Bo is a big part of it.
You're going for your 100th win on Friday night in your career. Can you put into words what that would mean to you, and when you look back on your career and all the wonderful players you've had the privilege to coach, and what that win and that milestone would mean for you as a coach?
Well, it's very important. I mean, to the school, to the community, and to myself. 100 years would be nice. 100 wins would be nice against a great team like this, especially being home. We're excited. The community's excited. It's a pretty big thing, you know. And what I'm more proud of is that those 100 wins, over 70% of them was with my two sons.
And I mean, you talk about all those great teams, and I mean, every team, there's no doubt, year to year is so much different, and you could pick and choose, I think, different things that you like about each team each year. So going into this season, Coach, what do you think your favorite thing about this team is going to be?
Well, my favorite thing is that how everybody really didn't give us a whole lot of credit because, you know, feeling that we lost our number one producer in Gibson, but we have so many weapons, and I knew the Pulowski kid, the way he worked in the off season and the way he works day in day out is it was going to be fine. I knew he was going to be the key piece, and right now in the two scrimmages in the first game, he's played very well.
You know, to get 100 wins, you also obviously have to put your time in, which means you also have to have a passion for what you do. What kind of gives you the passion for coaching? What makes you love it so much? And what makes you love this Brookfield community so much that you keep coming back to it?
Well, I graduated from Brookfield in '82. I've been here all my life. It is Brookfield, and I enjoy the kids here. I got, you know, a relationship with a lot of people in the community. We stick together. And you know, coaching isn't easy. It's a lot of time. I mean, we work at least 10 months a year towards to do what we do. I mean, our off-season program, we expect big things out of them, and we get a good participation in that. And we, you know, to be coaching at Brookfield, where I've always been from, is phenomenal.
You talk about everyone in the area counting you guys out going into this season. I think there's no doubt the reason you guys are never counted out here and why you guys are so competitive is because of your youth players and these players that keep coming up through the ranks. Talk to me about some younger players on this Brookfield team that we might not be talking about right now, but you think we're going to be mentioning their names a lot by the end of the season.
Well, I have 4 freshmen right now that played probably 70% of the game last week. And there's 4 freshmen are probably one of my best 4 freshmen I've ever had. The Christian Davis kid, you know, he scored last week on a punt return, a long run. He's going to be very special. We have Owen Shingeldecker, who plays linebacker, and he's our backup quarterback. He's a strong kid. He does well for us. We got Brian Reardon is a pure athlete, and this Japer kid plays offensive line and defensive end for us. They're filling spots that we probably thought we were going to have a little issue with, but, you know, as backups, but key backups.
Coach, talk about your staff, because we know that the head coaches get the limelight, they get the interviews, but they wouldn't be anything without the staff behind them. Talk about the coaches you have working with you and what they mean to the program.
Well, I have George Kirby, who's been with me for over 12 years. I have my son, Alex, he actually calls the offense now for us. He graduated in 2018. I got another ex-player, Carmen Ferrillo, O-line, D-line, does a great job for us. Joe Laverty has been with me for about 4 or 5 years. He used to coach middle school for me, does a great job. Nate Bodner, he's first year with me. He's doing a good job. Brad Shingeldecker used to be 7th and 8th grade coach, first year with me this year. They're all doing a great job. And in the summertime and right now for the next couple of weeks, I have Augustus Nicastro. He's helping us out with our quarterbacks, and he helped Donovan. Him and my son had Donovan all summer. And Augustus got to go back to medical school in a couple of weeks. So I'll be losing him.
Talk to me, too, about being able to coach with your son now and just that kind of relationship. You bring him up through coaching him, too, and then now all of a sudden he's part of your coaching staff. Talk to me about how that just seems like a unique story through that relationship. Talk to me how that relationship is formed and how it is now with him being a coach.
Well, our relationship has always been strong, and I think coaching together has made it stronger. I think this is his future, his career. He's majoring at YSU in kinesiology. He wants to. He does our strength and conditioning already, and he wants to be a strength and conditioning guy, maybe at the higher ranks when he gets done with school. But it's enjoyable at times. It gets a little frisky at home at times. But overall, it's a good relationship.
Is there ever been a time where he was looking at you, or he challenged something you thought of when he was a player, that he came back to you now as a coach and said, "Dad, you were right"?
Well, yeah, that happens pretty much quite a bit. But he ends up doing it the way that we did it. Even when he was a player, I mean, I can remember in games, he'll come in at halftime and tell us what we should be adjusting to, and believe it or not, majority of times he was right. I mean, the Jack Arvin All-Star game I coached at his senior year, he literally was telling the O-lineman and everybody else in the huddle what to do on certain plays. I mean, he's been in the football since he was 7 years old. He was a ball boy, water boy, all the way up, always giving me ideas, and hopefully it pays off for him.
Brookfield has always been known as a team that their identity is you're physical, you're big, you're going to push people around. How have you been able to keep that identity through the years, through all the players that have come through this program, and to maintain that kind of that mystique or have you with the big physical nature that you play with?
Well, I think that's credited to our competitive off-season weight program we have. Everything we do is competitive. And I think it's leadership from the coaches down to our captains, down to our seniors, and they know 18 years here with me. I mean, they know what is expected. So it's nature. I mean, I played here in the late 70s, early 80s, and that's when I played for Del Cerrone, that's what I was taught, and I try to carry that through.
Coach, my final question for you, and more of a spotlight that I'm going to shine on you, more or less. But talk to me and let everybody in the community know why Brookfield is going to be the place to be on Friday night to see this big matchup versus the Tigers.
Well, it's a top-notch game in Division 6. It's going to be a very good game. You're going to see two good teams going at it. I think it's game can go either way. We're excited. The community is excited, and I don't think there's any other place to be other than at our stadium this Friday.
Before we let you go, talk about the development of football in your program and some of the things that Brookfield does before high school to get these kids ready for when they get to you as freshmen.
Well, I mean, our 7th and 8th grade program is as I told you earlier, we're on the same page with the coaches. The coaches, like 2 of the coaches that used to coach 7th and 8th grade, are moved up now, but they're expected. I'm in school every day. I'm not a teacher, but I'm the maintenance supervisor, so I get to see the middle school kids. I get to see the elementary kids. I get to see the high school kids. They also get to see me, and we communicate pretty well on that end. And the thing about it is the players. I do believe they believe in each other and they believe in Brookfield.
As much as you as coaches teach players, we are always told that players teach coaches almost just as much. What kind of things have you learned from your kids and your players over the years that you kind of take and let yourself grow as a coach?
Well, that's a pretty tough question because probably one of the better teams I've had was in 2012 with the Quinlans and my older son and them. And to be honest with you, they're a bunch of jack-offs at practice. But when it came Friday night, they were very good. But but they worked hard. They had I credit every year I coach is to our off season. I believe our weight program is second to none. I think our participation for averaging 38 to 40 kids every year and getting probably 33, 34, 35 of those in the off season lifting and being competitive in what we do. I credit everything, my success, all to the off season, to be honest with you.
All right, one more before we let you go. Take us inside a typical Randy Clark game day and what your routine is on a Friday before games and during games.
Well, the thing about it is is, of course, I told you I was a maintenance supervisor, so that means I got to get the field ready, first of all. That's one of my jobs. So I'll be down there lining the field, getting ready on Thursday and Friday. That's about what I do on home games. And away games, I get off work at 2 o'clock. I go home, get a shower, and I go over to the weight room or the coach's office and sit there and watch some film and make sure that we have everything, our I's dotted and our T's crossed, and get ready for the game.
All right, Coach, thank you so much for joining us today. It was great to hear from you. Good luck this week. We definitely hope that you get your 100th win, and when you do, we'll be your biggest cheerleaders.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
All right, that was Coach Randy Clark, head coach of the Brookfield Warriors, joining us after a really big Week 1 win